Picture the most peaceful moment you can imagine. No notifications, no voices, no one asking anything of you. Just silence and space, and the rare luxury of being completely alone. It sounds like relief, but your body is not relieved. Your body is panicking in ways you cannot feel yet, triggering ancient emergency systems designed for a world where being alone meant one thing. You were about to die. That tension between what you want and what your biology fears is one of the oldest conflicts in the human story, and it starts long before you were born. Go back 2 million years. Your ancestors did not survive because they were the strongest or the fastest. They survived because they stayed together. The group was the strategy. Alone, a single human was slow, soft, and easy to kill. Together, humans were something the wilderness had never seen before. Coordinated, communicative, and almost impossible to overwhelm. Your nervous system learned this lesson so deeply that it hardwired it into your threat detection architecture. Separation from the group was not discomfort. It was danger, and your brain built an alarm system to match. That alarm system is still inside you, right now, waiting. Neuroscientist John Cacioppo spent decades studying what happens to the human body when it perceives itself as socially isolated. What he found shocked the medical community. Loneliness, he discovered, does not just feel bad. It physically restructures the body at the cellular level. It changes which genes switch on. It accelerates inflammation. It suppresses immune function. In one of his most cited findings, Cacioppo demonstrated that lonely individuals had measurably higher levels of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, even when no external threat was present. Your body treats isolation the way it treats a predator. The first thing that changes when you are truly alone is your hearing, not your actual auditory sensitivity, but what your brain chooses to amplify. In a process researchers call hypervigilance, the brain begins scanning your environment for threats with a kind of desperate intensity. Sounds you normally filter out, a creak in the floor, wind against a window, a distant car, suddenly break through into conscious awareness. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It is doing exactly what it evolved to do. It is trying to detect what your group would normally warn you about, because you no longer have the group, and something might be coming. Your visual system does the same thing. Studies by evolutionary psychologist Mark Schaller at the University of British Columbia found that people who felt socially excluded were significantly more likely to perceive ambiguous shapes and shadows as human faces, not because they were hallucinating, because the brain, when isolated, prioritizes finding other humans above almost every other perceptual task. It would rather misidentify a shadow as a person than miss an actual person in the dark. You are literally searching for your tribe in the patterns on the ceiling. And then there is sleep, or rather what happens to it. When you are isolated, your sleep architecture changes in ways that would seem counterproductive until you understand the evolutionary logic. Cacioppo's research revealed that lonely people spend significantly more time in lighter, more fragmented sleep stages. They wake more often. They feel less rested even after long hours in bed. From a modern comfort perspective, this is miserable. From an ancestral survival perspective, it makes perfect sense. Alone at the edge of the forest, deep sleep was a death sentence. Your brain kept you on the surface, ready to wake, ready to run, because no one else was watching for what might come out of the dark. Your sleep is still guarding you, even now, but the effects go even deeper than sleep and sound. Researcher Steve Cole at UCLA spent years studying the molecular biology of loneliness and discovered something that reshuffled scientific understanding of human social need. In isolated individuals, Cole found a distinct pattern of gene expression he called the conserved transcriptional response to adversity. Genes associated with inflammation switched on. Genes associated with antiviral defense switched off. The body, reading social isolation as physical threat, was preparing for injury rather than infection. This made sense in the ancient world. If you were separated from your group, it was probably because something attacked it. Wounds were coming. Viral threats, which spread through social contact, were paradoxically less likely when you had no social contact. So your body shifted its defenses accordingly. But in the modern world, where you are alone because you chose a weekend to yourself, your immune system cannot tell the difference. It prepares for wounds that will never arrive. It neglects viral threats that will. And over time, this miscalibration costs you. Now think about what you do when you feel lonely. Really think about it. You probably reach for your phone. You scroll. You check whether anyone has responded to anything you posted. You look for evidence, any evidence, that you are connected to other humans who acknowledge you exist. Researcher Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA ran a now-famous experiment called cyberball, in which participants were made to feel socially excluded during a simple digital ball-tossing game. What she found was extraordinary. The brain regions that lit up when participants were excluded were the same regions that activate during physical pain. The anterior cingulate cortex, your brain's pain alarm, does not distinguish between a broken bone and a broken social bond. Social pain is not a metaphor for physical pain. It is the same system. This is why rejection hurts in your chest, why heartbreak has a physical weight, why embarrassment makes you want to disappear from your own body. Your brain is not being dramatic. It is processing a genuine threat signal, the same one it would send if someone had struck you. And this is also why true solitude, when chosen, peaceful, deliberate solitude, is so physiologically difficult to achieve. You have to teach your nervous system that being alone is not the same as being abandoned, that silence is not the same as extinction, that no notification does not mean no tribe. Some people never learn this distinction. They fill every quiet moment with noise. They reach for the phone before they reach for a thought. Not because they are addicted, though the mechanisms overlap, but because their nervous system has never been taught that alone is safe. Others learn it slowly. Contemplatives, long-distance solo sailors, wilderness survivors, meditators, they all report a similar experience. A period of initial agitation, heightened anxiety, the sense of being watched from directions that do not exist. And then something shifts. The brain, having received no threat signals from the environment, begins to recalibrate. The cortisol drops. The hypervigilance softens, and what was terrifying becomes something else entirely. Some describe it as the first silence they have ever actually heard. Psychologist Esther Buchholz spent her career arguing for what she called alone time, not loneliness, but chosen solitude, as a fundamental human developmental need, as real and as critical as the need for attachment. She believed that the capacity to be alone was not the absence of social need. It was its highest expression. That only a person who had genuinely internalized the security of connection could afford to rest in its temporary absence. To be truly okay alone, she argued, you first had to know, deep in your nervous system, that you were not. So tonight, when you find yourself in a quiet room and something in you itches to fill the silence, understand what that itch is. It is 2 million years of survival instinct telling you that quiet is dangerous, that isolation is death, that you need to find your people right now. It is ancient. It is powerful. And for the first time in human history, it is almost never right. The most peaceful moment you can imagine, the one with no notifications, no voices, no demands, your body is working very hard to protect you from it. And the remarkable thing is that you can learn to let it rest,